Hannah.
Johnston here.
Grillo here.
Lorick here. David here.
Guzikowski here.
Crowell here.
Seifert here.
Chandler here.
Approval of minutes. Has everybody had a chance to look at the January 9th minutes?
Seifert moves to approve the minutes of January 9th, 2018.
Guzikowski will second.
Roll call.
Stain.
Johnston, aye.
Grillo, aye.
Lorick, aye. David, aye.
Guzikowski, aye.
Crowell, aye.
Seifert, aye.
Chandler, aye.
Now go to significant common council actions. Carrie?
Council approved an ordinance approving a conditional use permit for freight yard, freight terminal, and transshipment depot uses on the property at 10651 South Oakview Parkway. Concurred with the mayor's appointment of Christine Hanna to the Plan Commission. Welcome. Thank you for volunteering.
Thank you.
They held a resolution approving a certified survey map for Brian and Jenny Stromowski for the property at 1825 East Drexel Avenue. This will be held until the February meeting to be determined. What date? Approved an ordinance adopting an amendment to the comprehensive plan for the properties at 410 and 500 West Drexel Avenue. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Carrie.
Mayor?
Yes.
Just a question on that, as far as the Stromowski, they held on that? Was what the,
I was not in attendance. I was out of town that meeting. If Alderman Lorick could explain, maybe?
It was held because they were going to look further into whether or not the shed could actually remain if they have permission from the adjoining properties.
And if I could add to that, we were also asked to look into the dedication of the right-of-way along Drexel Avenue.
both issues? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Doug actually was gonna have city staff do some more homework with them, right-ish, I heard.
In terms of what we were asked to do is research what could be done in both instances. So we have provided the city attorney with our interpretation of code requirements, and she is looking further into it.
Great. Okay, we will move on to 5A. It is a review of a request submitted by iDrexel LLC, ICAP Development, to rezone the properties at 410 500 West Drexel from M1 Manufacturing to B4 Highway Business. Carrie?
First of all, I'd like to draw your attention to the fact that the Plan Commission reports have been updated to more mirror the Common Council reports. So if you have any questions or concerns or recommendations for improvement, please let me know. But on this topic, this is a request to rezone from M1 to B4 with no change to the floodway, floodplain, or wetland areas, as the mayor stated. This is the property that was recently the subject of a CSM to combine the two properties. It was approved by both Plan Commission and Council. This request to rezone the properties is in advance of developing with a mix of commercial and service uses. Existing parcels in the area are zoned for mixed-use, commercial, manufacturing, park, and institutional uses. So the proposal would mirror what is already approved for the area. The B4 district is intended to provide for the orderly and attractive grouping at appropriate locations along federal, state, and county highway routes of those businesses and customer services which are logically related to and dependent upon highway traffic or which are specifically designed to serve the needs of traffic. Staff believes that the proposal that includes the CSM and plans for development with a mix of commercial and service uses appears to be consistent with this B4 purpose statement. If the Plan Commission agrees, the suggested motion is that the Plan Commission recommends to the Common Council that the properties at 410 and 500 West Drexel Avenue be rezoned from M1 Manufacturing to B4 Highway Business with no change to the FW Floodway, FF Flood Fringe, or C1 Shoreland Wetland Conservancy districts after a public hearing. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Carrie. Any questions from the commission going forward?
Be clean.
Questions, concerns, nothing? Okay, seeing none, motion.
Lorick will move that the Plan Commission recommend to the Common Council that the properties at 410 and 500 West Drexel Avenue be rezoned from M1 Manufacturing to B4 Highway Business. No change to FW Floodway, FF Flood Fringe, or C1 Shoreland Wetland Conservancy districts after a public hearing.
Seifert seconds.
Roll call.
Christine Hannah.
Johnston, aye.
Grillo, aye.
Lorick, aye.
David, aye.
Guzikowski, aye.
Crowell, aye.
Seifert, aye.
Chandler, aye.
If I could just get a clarification, I'm sorry.
And aye. Yeah.
Aye, thank you. For the record, Christine Hanna's vote was aye.
Yeah, I know. It's a little unfair, Christine, but
That's all right.
we,
I
al-
like that stuff.
we always depended on the guy down there to just lead things off.
Make it
So,
special.
just a note to everybody. I should have did this, and my bad. But we do have a new member with us, Christine Hanna. Christine's joining us, taking the place of Wally Dickman, who served almost 30 years on this commission. Yeah,
Do the same.
he definitely served his time well. So, Christine, do you want to say anything? Introduce yourself a little bit.
Yes, my name is Christine Hanna. I have been a resident of Oak Creek for about 20 years since I came to the U.S. Like you see, I'm not originally from here. I'm originally from Spain. Since I moved, I lived in Oak Creek, and I am also a professional engineer. So I work for the state of Wisconsin. So I have been serving the public for the past 20 years.
Well, thank you. And again, thank you for your time, your dedication, and your knowledge that you're going to put forward. So, yeah. So, okay, moving on. 5B, we have a plan review for site and building plans for HSI Drexel Ridge 2 LLC for an expansion of a detached garage and building on the property at 1875 East Hidden Court. Carrie?
This is a request to modify the previously approved garage, detached garage bank that is on the property. For those of you who are familiar with the project, the address is a little bit misleading. That's actually the address that's tied to the parcel itself. The physical building is going to be south of what is shown on the plan as Building 20, which actually has a different address, but it's all the same. So the request is for a bank of 7 bays instead of 5. There would be no change to the originally approved architecture or materials, no change to the location. It's simply adding 2 bays instead of having 2 surface parking stalls in that exact area. So what's on your screen right now is what's proposed, and I can zoom in and show you exactly where that garage is in relation to the building. It's just south of it, so right here. It's a 7-car garage again. And if anybody has any questions about what was approved previously, like I said, just the removal of 2 bays. And no other changes to the building design or to the location, to anything else on the plan. So if the Plan Commission feels that this is an appropriate proposal, there's a suggested motion that the Plan Commission approves the site and building plans for the 7-bay detached garage building submitted by HSI Drexel Ridge 2 LLC for the property at 1875 East Hidden Creek Court. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Carrie. Pat?
I don't have an issue with it. I guess my only comment is we went through a lot of heartburn and meetings over this development. I think the development's turned out fantastic, and I don't know if the city's had any issues, but they've certainly lived up to what they said they were going to do.
I don't see any problem either. It's pretty cut and dry.
Jossie, anything?
I have a question for the applicant. Name and address.
Ashley Poole, 18500 West Corporate Drive, Brookfield, Wisconsin, 53045.
Can you provide a little more information on why the change from 5 to 7 bays?
Yeah, we're just looking to add some additional space for maintenance storage, just, it's a large site. We have a lot of different maintenance stuff, storing pool furniture or anything like that.
Question for Carrie. So does this require any changes from a safety perspective?
No. No, and they were overparked, so this doesn't, the removal of 2 parking stalls for what would be equipment storage doesn't have any effect on what the required number of parking stalls is.
Okay, thank you.
I appreciate that they are going to have some of the equipment stored inside so that the neighbors and other neighbors around the area don't have to stare at it. So, and I agree with Commissioner Correll. This has really turned into a nice area.
Thank you.
Commissioner Lorick, anything? Commissioner Johnston? Grillo? Hannah? Nothing? I'll add my 2 cents. It is a nice looking development. I have not heard any traffic complaints, oddly enough. And we were very worried about that. And I know it's early in the process yet, but I hope it stays that way. I do hate to see covered garages go away, but I do understand why, and I'd rather see this in a standalone shed or something like that. So, good with it. So,
How full is the development right now when it comes to traffic? How far along is it?
We're up to building 8 on there.
Okay.
And everything's been doing really great. I mean, it's been pretty full.
Because the traffic has been, like you said, I go that way a lot and haven't noticed. It's not any better, but it's not any worse. So,
But yeah, it's pretty full for those, to the 8
that-
buildings,
okay,
yeah.
great.
off the topic, but rentals going well, percentage-wise?
Yes, everything's going really well so far, so we're happy with that.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, seeing nothing else, motion. Oh, Brian?
Just on that topic, Building 9 is almost to occupancy.
Yes.
Building 10 will be following in about a month. 11, 12, 13, and 15 are under construction, so there's a lot more coming yet.
That's true.
Thanks for the update.
Carl moves that the commission approves the site and building plans for the 7-bay detached garage building submitted by HSI Drexel Ridge 2 LLC for the property at 1875 East Hidden Creek Court.
Seifert seconds.
Roll call?
Christine, I.
Johnston, aye.
Grillo, I.
Lorick, aye.
David Chai.
Guzekowski, aye.
Carl, aye?
Seifert, aye.
Chandler, aye.
And item C, plan review for site and building plans submitted by Jamie Vega of MATC for a proposed fire training tower on the property at 6665 South Howell. Pete?
I get to do one. Yes, as you stated, the applicant is requesting site and building approval for a proposed fire training tower addition over at 6665 South Howell Avenue. Up on the screen is the site map showing the layout of MATC. To the right of the screen is South Howell Avenue, and the location of the proposed training tower is on the far west side, indicated by the arrow there on the screen. There is an existing fire tower already there. Included in your packet are some photos of showing what the existing fire tower looks like. They are looking to add a 5-story tower addition, which is 70 feet, 5 inches tall. Typically, we don't allow that tall of a building in a zoning district. However, in the zoning code, we do allow for special certain exemptions, and one of them is fire tower. Interesting enough, I had to look that one up to find such a specific exemption from the code. So it does meet the height limits. Also, because it's close to the airport, they did need to receive FCC approval to build such a tall structure in close proximity to the airport. All other setbacks as proposed for the structure, it does meet the zoning district requirements. Included in your packet are elevation drawings that show what the buildings will look like. It's going to be made, consist primarily of metal paneling. This does not meet our exterior design standards of masonry, brick, and glass, but we do have the authority, or the Plan Commission, I should say, has the authority to waive that rules on a case-by-case situation. So I'm just going to bring up the graphics are showing what this will look like. It'll be a 5-story building with access to the roof. There'll be balconies on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th floors. This will be used for fire training, exercises as part of their programming for fire training. Anytime we have a building that doesn't meet the standards, we always require 3/4 majority. So I always like to bring that to the commission's attention. Staff doesn't have much concern regarding this, one, because of the location, and two, for the purpose of which this building is going to be used for. With that said, it's going to be built on already an impervious surface, so there's no concerns as regards to stormwater management. And anything that goes with the building permit, such as the building will have to meet building and fire codes, of course, as well as any approvals from engineering department regarding grading, drainage, and raising plans, if any, proposed. With that said, staff recommends approval of the site and building plans for the proposed fire training tower expansion located at 6665 South Howell Avenue. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Pete. At this time, I'll open it up for questions to the commission.
I'd like to just ask the applicant why they wanted to extend it 2 more stories. if they're here.
Name and address.
Jamie Vega. I'm representing MATC at 700 West State Street, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 53233. The original facility was built in the early 90s, and it is no longer technologically useful to us at this time, so we are doing minor remodeling to that, but the structure we're putting up is a state-of-the-art, up-to-grade facility for training EMS, firefighters, and police officers.
I'm still having a little problem with
Oh,
the extra
okay.
2 stories. If you operate it with 3 stories, what will the 2 additional stories give you?
Then that's exactly it, more opportunity to train properly per today's standards. You have higher buildings. At that time when it was built, it was considered state-of-the-art, but again, as of today, it no longer meets the proper requirements that people that train would like to have. And it's a new facility. The old one, we're gonna,
I agree on rebuilding, but I'm just curious about the 2-story
Sure.
addition.
sure, it's just more opportunity for training.
Okay.
And the porch region is a different type of training, ladder, propping, certain things that weren't as included in that 1993 building.
Thank you.
I have a question. So actually to kind of chime in on your question. So are you having like higher enrollment? That's why you have those additional 2 stories?
Yeah.
Or what is?
Yes, this is used by our students and by municipalities. So other municipalities use that structure to train, and our enrollment is up. And in order to get this project approved, we have to submit it to the state college board, and it has been approved for enrollment.
Commissioner Chandler, do you have something?
Yes, I have a question, or the applicant. Can you provide a little more information about the metal paneling? Portion of the building, does it already have metal paneling? And it's just, Pete, not Carrie. My apologies.
No worries. It is a metal-sided building. The existing or the tower is made out of CMU block. And so I believe the material is a better material for the training purposes than what is existing. So I would defer to the applicant as to why they would prefer the metal over the CMU block.
Yes, as of new technology, these metal panels withstand more and they don't creep and move as much as CMU. The heat change years ago created quite a bit of deterioration with the CMU, but this is a building that is the standard industry type of fire training tower.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Chris?
You know, I had the opportunity probably about 2 years ago to partake in the Fire Ops 101 at MATC. And I'll tell you what, it was an opportunity of a lifetime, and I look forward to doing it again in the future in one of the new towers here.
I guess, thank you.
Thank you.
Vega. From my point of view, again, it's another asset. Oak Creek is a fully trained fire department, and they do utilize it. At this time, if you'd like to come up, Assistant Chief Kresick, would you like to come on and kind of tell us how vital this is for your department, that something like this is brought up in our area? And then I do have a question with the burn room. Is it just contained to that first floor, or does it, you guys burn all the way up a couple floors?
Mike Kresick, Fire Department. I don't know what the interior layout will be. I'm going to tie it back into, I guess, the previous question about why 5 stories. My assumption would be that each of those stories would have the opportunity to have specialized features for the variety of situations the fire service will run into. So having a taller structure, having that 5-story just presents more training opportunities, more realistic training opportunities. The difference between 5 and 3 can be dramatic, and that's a huge asset to have this facility. I can't specifically answer your question. I guess that would probably go back to
I was just
applicants.
wondering, I know they're going with panels, but I don't suspect the panels are burn. Because you'd be replacing them quite a bit.
Absolutely.
I understand they'll get heat and expanding.
Absolutely, and I guess I would also defer the type of fires that'll take place in the structure. I think being state-of-the-art, it'll probably differ from the past where pallets, bales of hay, and mattresses were the main source of fuel, where certainly a state-of-the-art facility gives you the opportunity for more controlled gas-fired fires, which can be maintained by the instructors and present a more stable training environment. That affects the heat and certainly the effect on the building. So I guess, as the interior features and how the layout will be deployed, I guess that'll have effect on how well that building stands up to the use and potential abuse it'll take.
And do keep in mind, we do have some 5-story structures within the city, the power plant being first to jump behind it.
Absolutely.
I want to say Wheaton Franciscan over in Franklin, if you do a mutual aid.
Many more 4-story and the 5-story, especially as you get into the industrial type occupancies, those are more prevalent. Definitely more
Just here in
prevalent.
Town Square, we have 4 stories.
I just want to take the opportunity. Oftentimes when I come up here and talk about a structure, we try to go over the risk assessment of that structure and how it's going to affect protective services, police or fire. There's always some risk to any business that goes into the community, from added calls, added fire load, whatever the risk is to the community. And this is my rare opportunity to say that we actually have a structure going into our community that's going to benefit the fire service directly through training opportunities, not only the number of opportunities, but the type.
Thank you. Anybody else? Seeing nothing, motion?
Seifert moves that the planning commission approves the site and building plans for the proposed fire training tower expansion located at 6665 South Howell Avenue.
Guzekowski will second.
Roll call.
Christine, aye.
Johnston, aye.
Grillo, aye.
Lorick, aye.
Gavich, aye.
Guzekowski, aye. Earl, aye.
Seifert, aye.
Chandler, aye.
And that gets us to a rather short agenda to adjournment.
Grillo moves to adjourn at 6:21.
Oracle, second.
Roll call.
Christine, aye.
Johnston, aye.
Grillo, aye.
Lorick, aye.
Gavich, aye.
Guzekowski, aye.
Corral, aye.
Seifert, aye.
Chandler, aye.
I'd like to thank our staff for being well prepared, our IT guy for everything he's done tonight. And as always, please get out there, discover and celebrate Oak Creek. Thank you.